Welcome to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to talk about a little movie known as The Sting from 1973, directed by George Roy Hill and stars Paul Newman, Robert Redford, Robert Shaw, Charles Durning, Ray Walston, Eileen Brennan, and Robert Earl Jones. So, Joe, this movie was recommended by somebody. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, as many of you probably heard, Robert Redford passed away somewhat recently. I guess by the time this comes out, probably a month ago, I would say.
Yeah, a little bit over,
But
probably.
yeah, I was talking to my mom about Robert Redford movies, and I don't know that I've ever really seen anything with him in it. And she was remembering a double date she had gone on with my dad and some friends to go see The Sting in theaters. And she recommended that we watch that next. So that's what brought us here.
Nice. It's a very good
Yeah.
recommendation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
One I have seen before myself, obviously new to you.
Yep. Yep. So why don't I go into my thoughts
Do it.
as we often do in this podcast? So, yeah, the title screen or title theme, I should say. Sorry, I had to mute there for a second. The title the title theme was an interesting choice. At first it was a bit kind of
Like a
startling to
sitcom?
me. Yeah, it was a little off, but it kind of grew on me
Mm-hmm.
as it was playing. Especially with, like, to your point, it was like naming all the cast members and like
Mm-hmm.
showing them mid action scene. Like freeze frames, not actual movement.
Right.
Um and so that was a little odd to me, but I figured maybe for the time that this film was out, that was maybe the norm, or whatever. I didn't really hit it too much, but I think the music itself was the most startling to me. Because I typically, when I hear that song, it's more in like a jovial, like light type setting,
Right. Yeah.
and
The
not really
Entertainer.
knowing what, right, and not knowing what I was getting into here. I figured this was going to be more of a serious film. So it just seemed off, but they use the entertainer quite a few times in this film, and I think it fits. Overall, I think just based on, I think the idea behind the film and what it's doing, I think it matches its energy, if in a roundabout way. And I'm not sure I can explain why I feel that way, at least intelligibly, but I do believe that it feels right. At first it didn't, but I got there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that?
No, I definitely agree. I know like the Entertainer is much older of a song, but um the use here and kind of essentially, I guess, remix of it worked out pretty well. And overall, the soundtrack, like, it won me over towards the end.
Yeah,
So yeah,
agreed.
I definitely
Agreed.
feel that this movie is very highly regarded. It actually won 7 Oscars. So music was one of them.
Oh wow.
It
Well,
also got
I
Best
mean,
Picture, Director, Writing, Art Direction, Film Editing, and Costume Design.
well, I have to say I agree with the the Emmy board. Whenever they won this, I guess in '73.
Oscars,
Um,
not Emmy.
or the Oscars. I'm sorry, the Emmys,
It's okay.
Oscars. I'm all over the place,
You're
but
fine. It's fine. Perfectly fine.
yeah, it's well deserved. Spoiler alert. I really like this film, like, a lot. Um, I'm
Okay.
I'm a sucker for heist type films like the Ocean's 11,
Right.
Snatch, those
This
kind
is
of things.
definitely kind of like an
And this is
original
I was gonna say
Ocean's
this is like the
11.
grandfather of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I really like too when they're smart, like when it's a lot of details put into plans and a lot of diversions and stuff like that. And this film really does that with the story. Like there's a lot of bait and switches,
Hmm.
I guess I would say.
Well, I
But
mean,
there's
so it has a lot of things that need to be coordinated and a lot of stuff shifting and being ad- adapted to on the fly. Um, very much like you saw in Ocean's 11, and then like this. When I say Ocean's 11, I'm obviously talking about the more recent one, not the one from 1960, which does precede this film. Um, so, yeah, but they have to just, you know, they change the way someone wants to meet with somebody before they'll do the big bet. So they have to adapt that on the fly or come up with a solution to it. And they
Right.
did a great
They
job of doing that.
they throw in the cops, at one
Yep.
point to kind of be a third party to screw with things even more. And
Yep.
um yeah, I mean it's just it's really smart. The attention to detail on everything, in my opinion, was really well done.
Hmm.
As far as that side goes. I'll also mention too, because this has been coming up a lot recently in our latest episodes, is that like some of these movies I had no idea what they were, but I saw clips of them on TikTok, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Surprisingly, so the scene where Robert Redford runs into the guy being mugged in the
Right.
alleyway,
Yep.
that was a TikTok short that I had seen.
Okay.
And it basically didn't show that they were in on it with each other. It just showed the fight happening in the chase, and that was about it. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so it was kind of a neat aside, just to say like I kind of knew a little bit before I even knew that I knew a little bit.
Was it just literally just showing
Some
that
inception.
scene, or was it like
Yeah, it was just that
for a
scene.
purpose?
No, it was just one, like, how you get on like TikTok or YouTube Shorts, and there's some channels that all they do is they show like shorts of like TV shows or movies.
Not
Like that's
often,
all it
no.
is. Oh, really? I
No.
get those all the time.
Okay.
Um, and they typically like will either like change the video a little bit or do something so they don't get copyright struck.
No.
Um,
I
but
usually
yeah,
get
I run into this a lot.
I usually get something like that. They'll play a scene and then either have a fun fact or something tied in with it. Usually it's not just
Uh,
straight up.
I wish that was the case.
Yeah.
No,
Huh.
I just get ones where people are straight up pirating it and getting views from it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's not cool.
no, it's not, but it also is kind of neat because I saw this
Yeah,
part
true.
of this film already. But so yeah, so Robert Redford is a great actor in this film.
Yep.
Very charming. As my mom brought up multiple times, quite the ladies' man,
Okay, yeah, yeah. Kind
quite
of
the
like
looker.
original Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like that era's Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Um, and so he's very charismatic. And same thing with Paul Newman.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Also kind of a bit of a ladies' man and a good actor. And the chemistry on screen is really well done. Um, it's just really well done. I don't. I mean the ability for them to quip off of each other. Redford being the young up and comer, and Newman being kind of the older, getting out of it and coming back in type.
Yeah.
I think is a nice pairing.
And well, there are some
Um,
things to play into that as well. So, have you heard of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
yeah, so I was gonna bring that up later. Is my mom also recommended and we watched that too at some point. So
Right. So, just to kind of explain that a little bit further, also stars Paul Newman, also stars
right.
Robert Redford, is prior to this movie, and was directed by the same director.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that I don't know if that was the first time they worked together, but obviously a very popular movie in the time they did. Which also during the filming of The Sting, those two have become kind of friends enough where they felt comfortable pranking each other. And there was some things that had to be cleaned up on set from some of the pranks they pulled, like filling one of their um, rooms with chickens and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it makes sense because their chemistry on screen is really well done. So,
agreed.
um, yeah, so cool. I appreciate um, the story overall. The idea of showing how Robert Redford or Hooker, as he's called in here, being that up and comer and doing like little scams, I guess.
Hmm.
And ultimately being kind of thrown into the big heist or the what did they call it? The big what? The big I can't think of the word that they used.
The
Big
Wire.
something. I don't remember. No. But
They had a
yeah,
lot of
the big
terms.
event. The
Yeah,
main
yeah,
event, right?
yeah.
And so Luther, his mentor, being killed over the fact that Hooker was bad with his money and got caught, spending the money that was stolen from a larger syndicate inadvertently, ended up getting Luther killed. And so that leads to Hooker meeting Paul Newman's character. And you know, that all kicks off from there. Um I again, harkening back to the Ocean's 11 type thing, I love how it was just the two of them to start, and then they slowly begin to pull other heisters
Right.
out of retirement or bring them in. Um, so that's kind of cool too. They all have not necessarily they all have their own specializations, like in Ocean's 11, like, one's a good speaker, one's the technology guy, one's the explosives guy. Like this was, I think, like all of them were just kind of well-rounded in what
Hmm.
they do, like
Yeah,
savvy and sleek.
for sure.
Um, which I thought was kind of cool. Because none of this is really well, I wouldn't say none of it. Most of it isn't handled in like a violent fashion throughout this. Like there's no over the top. Like I think that's maybe why I appreciate this so much as well, is a lot of it's believable and
Hmm.
how they pull a lot of it off. Um and it's practical, I guess, too. So
It's
uh
practical. It takes advantage of technology at the time in a very
right.
smart way.
Yep. Um so just the team getting pulled together was super cool. I started off the podcast by saying like how there's a lot of red herrings and a lot of bait and switch that happens in this film.
Hmm.
And man, it really kept me engaged, from the poker scene that happens on the train. From the guy, the one what's the big bad guy's name in this? I forgot already.
Lonigan.
Yeah, Lulligan. He what was that? In like an
Lonigan.
Irish accent? Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Lulligan.
Irish.
Okay. I struggled with his accent at times, but um
It's Robert
he
Shaw, man.
I know. But he's his own kind of shyster and cheats at poker and Paul Newman also is good at cheating at poker, so they're kind of, at wits at each other, and and Lulligan's pulling his big plan at the end there of
Lonigan.
giving Newman a four of a kind, thinking that he'll go all in, and Mulligan had what four queens or four tens or something or
He
four
had four
nines. I can't
nines.
remember. Four nines, and Newman had four threes. But then Newman was able to also shiest him by somehow loading his hand with four tens
Jacks.
and or jacks. Okay, higher numbers. Your memory is better than mine. But just how that all plays out and how that also like leads into the long heist of you know, uh, them basically being at odds, and Hooker being the one that has to go get the money from Lulligan, and then says that he's trying to undermine Newman and his outfit, and that's kind of gets him in as the in man. And then they do the horse races sham and how that goes down. It's kind of interesting too. Like I said, throughout while all this is happening, the cops that are investigating the money laundering, or not money laundering, the fake money, that Hooker was caught with earlier is chasing him throughout the film,
Hmm.
like getting in the middle of things, kind of again putting that stick in the gear. And so that complicates things at times too. And then you're introduced later on that the FBI is involved. And so then that kind of gets a little bit sticky and how that all plays out. And then they also bring in that waitress at the diner, and how she's also a bad apple, and how she plays into it. And there's just, I guess, the moral of this is that there's just so much going on,
Hmm.
but it's not wasted, and it's quite smart, I think, in how it's brought together.
Right. And it all
Um,
comes together nicely.
yes, and it comes together so nicely that that's the biggest bait and switch to me is the ending of the film. Um, when the FBI comes in and are after Newman, and they say, "Hooker, you can go," and Newman shoots Hooker. I thought that's how it was going to end. uh, and then it turns out no, it was all part of their plan. The FBI really wasn't involved. They were just brought in to get the cop off the case,
Mm-hmm. And
also to
Lonigan
be an out
out.
from Mulligan, so that he wouldn't care
Lonigan.
about his money. What is it?
Lonigan.
I'm saying Lolligan.
I
Lonigan.
know. I don't know if
Mhm.
you're trying to get me to like do
No,
what he was
I'm
doing in the
committing to
movie,
it.
but that's what I'm
I'm
doing.
committing to it. It's Lolligan.
Lonigan.
Yeah, it's Lolligan today.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's able to get him out of there and get the final say. So it's just again, it's very smart. Like
Mm-hmm.
I was thrilled throughout this film, like just enamored with what was going on, and yeah. Now, I mean that being said, too, this is a bit of a longer film, not terribly long, but 2 hours. Um,
For its
it didn't feel
time.
like it.
Yeah.
What's that?
For its time, 2 hours. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, nowadays it's 3 hours is the common, but it's still like a 2 hour film, can drag sometimes, but this one did not drag in my opinion at all. Um, something else I took note of as I'm looking through, I wanted to call out is another kind of like smart play was when Hooker was at the diner and noticed that he was being trailed. And he told the waitress to open the window to the bathroom. I originally figured that what he was going to do is run through and out the bathroom window, right?
Right. Yeah.
Seemed straightforward. But then there's the whole, he runs into the bathroom and hides in the stall behind the waitress. So it looks like the waitress is, going to the bathroom, but he's, behind her and they can't see him under the stall. And so the guy goes out the window looking for Hooker. So it's just very smart in how all that plays out. Like I said, again, they're really good with the whole bait and switch in this film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Uh,
agree.
yeah. So again, the music, I thought the music was great. It kept the highs high, the lows lows, and even in the cases where like really didn't have to play music at all, like when the entertainer would come in, it was fine. Um, I appreciated that this movie was also kind of presented in chapters. Kind of harkens to um, other films that we've watched before, like Tarantino films, how he does that as well. Not
Mm.
that, I mean, this preceded him, but it's just something I've seen, with Tarantino and how he does things. So that was cool that they do that. I thought the scenery in which this was shot was really well done as well, like basement bars, warehouses, a lot of street shots. The I know it's not in Coney Island, but like the Coney Island esque buildings, like the
Mm-hmm.
carousel inside,
Right.
like I thought that was a neat headquarters for them.
Right.
Um, yeah, so the overall scenery and environment for this film I thought was really well done as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um, yeah, I talked about the acting. The acting is top notch all around. I don't think there was really anyone that underacted in this film, but it was all great. The only criticism I have about this film, Ned, is why were Hooker's shoes so damn loud? What's up with that? What? And
They
why was he
chose to
wearing
make it
tap shoes
so.
everywhere?
I
Hmm?
mean, those are the shoes of the time, man.
I guess did everybody clip clop around in the
I
'70s?
would guess
Is
so.
that is
Yeah.
that is that how it worked?
I mean, did they have sneakers then? I don't know. This
I
is
don't know. I
technically
don't know.
1930, by the way.
Well, it's true, but still, like, with all their souls made of metal, what's going on then?
I mean, they weren't wearing moccasins.
Well, maybe they should have been, so it wasn't so loud.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't really bother me. I just that's something I noticed every time Redford was on screen. It was like clop 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 clop. But no, I mean that overall, dude. That's all I can really say about this film is just all good. It was really well done.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So what did I miss? What do you got that I didn't call out?
Well, I mean, I think you did a good job of covering it. It is a good movie. I mean, obviously, it won a crap ton of awards. It also came out uh, between two very popular movies that took Best Pictures the year before and after, The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2.
Oh wow.
So that just it's sandwiched right in between The Godfathers as Best Picture. So obviously very different style looking movies, and kind of like how you noted, it's kind of interesting seeing the name of the actor and their character that they're playing kind of up front in the beginning. Um, that's usually either something you see towards the end of the movie or like early on in like a sitcom style thing.
Right.
Which I don't know, like the whole look and feel of this movie. Granted, it's meant to kind of look a little bit older, but I couldn't help but watch this movie and kind of feel like I'm watching Batman 66 in a way, and how like
Yeah.
it just looked visually and everything came together. Even like some of the transitions where they had like, the circle kind of expand or collapse to
Yeah, the like the swipe lefts
yeah.
transitions and stuff. Yeah, that's
Yep.
that's true. I didn't even think of that. Even the
So,
lighting
mhm,
kind of yeah,
yeah,
it's a good call out.
like just the whole cinematography look and feel to this was just interesting. And a lot of this was actually shot on Universal Hollywood's set, like the whole train thing. There wasn't really a train. It was all just set pieces. And they did a lot of the construction of the buildings and stuff there. Even like I think the entire train station that they're in for a period is all in a park. So
Interesting.
yeah. Another thing that this kind of uses is those title cards you kind of mentioned, which I don't remember all the words. I know the wire, the hook, some of those kind of terms, but they all had kind of like a Norman Rockwell art style to them.
Yes. Yes, very
Um,
much.
they were not done by Norman Rockwell, but definitely inspired by them, and I did appreciate them when they popped up to kind of show the chapters of the movie. But um, one of the other aspects of things here is the costume design. Uh, the lady who accepted the Oscar, her name is Edith Head. Uh, she had won an Oscar 7 times prior to this movie, but this eighth was her final one that she accepted and then kind of stepped away on top.
Oh
But
damn.
if you ever look up a picture of her, um, you can tell that she has a certain look that may be influenced, and I think there was a few others that influenced it, but Edna Mood from The Incredibles,
Mhm.
uh, her look and the fact that she's a costume designer is definitely inspired by Edith Head a bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting as I was doing some research on this. I had never really heard of her
Oh,
prior to this.
oh wow. She she really does look like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Um, and then we have Robert Shaw here, which we've talked about him a little bit on the podcast before with Jaws. Just in general, great actor. I haven't seen too many of his films. I want to see more. Um, I think there's a few that kind of stood out to me. Battle of Britain, I think, is one that I picked up and probably going to add to a watch list at some point. Check that out. We also mentioned Butch Cassidy, which I think we'll have to add that one to the list. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Another one for, I think, Paul Newman is one that I like called The Hustler. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I have not.
Okay, I might add that to the list. And then, Robert Redford, there's plenty of other ones. The All the President's Men movie, and then there's one that he was in with Brad Pitt called Spy Game. You ever hear that one?
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. So might add some of those to the list. Another aspect of things here, like I haven't seen a lot of Robert Earl Jones before, but that's the father to James Earl Jones, which in looking into both of them, they both lived um into their 90s, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And then, we have Mrs. Peacock here as well from Clue.
Yep.
That's a nice little thing to see. But to also circle back to Robert Shaw, His limp that he has in the movie uh, is something that was due to a little sporting accident he had prior, and he just played it into the character. So in
Oh
between
wow.
shots, he was icing his leg and trying to keep it together, but he had done something to his knee during, I think, racquetball, and also sadly, it was only a few years after uh, this movie where he passed away at the age of 51.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And then also, did you know this movie had a sequel?
No, I didn't.
Not many people choose to acknowledge that there is, but there is a Sting 2. It doesn't have any Paul Newman or Robert Redford in it, and it's not directed by the same guy. Um, it's one of those
Uh,
movies that people just choose to forget, and probably rightfully so. But another
Interesting.
thing to kind of, you know, one of the things early on with this movie, the writer of it, um, I guess he was sued essentially, and Universal was sued because of uh, I think it was a book called The Conman or something like that, or The Con. Um, but the writer of that book ended up suing the writer of the movie. They ended up settling out of court and everything, but they ended up going back and rewriting things and tweaking a lot of things, and they ended up preparing multiple endings for this movie. Um, there's one where Hooker dies, there's one where Gondorf dies, and then there's the ending we actually got. So I always appreciate movies that can kind of prepare for something like that and keep people on their feet. It's usually a pretty good sign of writing, uh, from what I've seen at least.
Nice.
And I also like, as I mentioned earlier, like they're leveraging the technology and stuff here, where they are essentially covering a real, you know, race. But due to the fact that you're working off a radio, you can delay that race and
Right.
play things out the way you want it to, knowing who is going to be the victor. So I really thought that was smartly handled. And I don't know, like this movie in general, the setup, like even the guys going into that Western Union and taking the guy's office, pretending to paint it, uh,
Right.
like all that just comes together so nicely, and I really appreciate this movie for how organized and adaptive it is.
Yep. I agree.
But yeah, I don't really think I have too much else to add. I think you hit on all the other things. Um, so I guess let's get to the scores, man. What do you got?
Okay. So Ned, based on everything that I said about this film, I am giving this a 5 out of 5.
Holy crap.
Yeah, this is really, I really, 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 really like this movie. It was really good. I'll definitely be going back and watching it again. But yeah, this one earned a perfect 5 out of 5, and I'm glad that the Oscars agreed.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a very strong candidate for a 5 out of 5. Um, I did not get there. Um,
Okay.
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 personally,
Okay.
which is very highly regarded from
Right.
movies I've seen.
So I was at a 4.5 up until like the last even 5 minutes of the film.
Hmm.
And when they did that last like bit of bait and switch with killing Hooker, but then him not really being dead,
Right.
I was like, that was just one more like icing on the cake for me, and that pushed it to a 5 for me. Like I was like, this is too good. Everything
Yeah.
they've done here
No,
is just too good.
that's fair. I think the thing that really holds me back is, as you kind of mentioned, there's a lot of red herrings kind of in this, and I think
Hmm.
the Loretta person and that aspect of things being worked in there, that didn't
Yeah.
work well for me. Um, like, yeah, you can tell he's at the restaurant. He's like, "Oh, where's her?" And she's off, and I'm taking over for the next week or so until I can afford a bus ticket or something. And like, she has the opportunity at the restaurant to get him killed. She has the opportunity while she's sleeping with him to get him killed, and just the way everything kind of played out there. Like, I kind of respect some of it, but it was just like, why?
Yeah. No, I get it.
So
Cool.
yeah. All right. So, next recommendation, I think we touched on this last time. I can't remember for sure, but
We
we're
did.
gonna do a little bit of a Halloween thing and watch Hubie Halloween.
It's true.
I think I am definitely excited to rewatch and discuss that one with you.
Yeah, I've just full transparency. I've seen this as well, so
Hmm.
this is a rewatch for both of us. But we are both excited to watch it again. At least I am. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see if it
yeah.
holds up in my mind the way first time I saw it.
I know for me, the first time I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, usually I give any Adam Sandler movie a chance, but he was on like a little bit of a rough streak, especially with his Netflix movies. And Hubie
Right.
Halloween came out, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
we can get into that a little
And
bit
just
more
as a
next
reminder,
episode.
this is yep, and this is in lieu of an extras. So
Yeah, we're not going to
two
be
main
doing an
movies.
extra, so you might get back to back features from us.
That's right.
So yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads at To the Movies Pod. And we're also on YouTube at The Movies Pod. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for letting me drag us, even though I was dragged here as well. I don't know how this one worked, but
You
there
were
was a lot
dragged
of
by your
dragging happening.
mom, and I just kind of
And,
followed
and
behind.
you were collateral damage. Yep.
She had your
Nice.
head, I had your feet.
That's fair. That's fair. Kind of weird, but fair.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.